Hi, welcome to today's video. I'm Jennifer.
I'm Ian.
And we're going to talk to you about how to choose the right agent when looking for a home. Selling or buying, this is very important. First of all, you need to know your client.
And that's for sure. You know who is your client, and have you actually met them at least on Zoom or something, had a conversation
Right.
with them, right?
If we don't have a conversation, I really can't get to the nitty-gritty and understand your problem or how to solve it. So it's very important that your agent takes the effort to get to know you. Okay. You also want to look for a seasoned real estate agent. I know you may have a relative who's just gotten in the real estate market, so really look for a seasoned agent or at least a seasoned broker with agents who are working side by side with each other. Also, they need real estate expertise on the workflow. They need to understand the workflow, the rules, the time frames, and the process, how this all works. Make sure your agent knows what they're talking about, and don't be afraid to ask them questions. So you got to also understand the constant environmental change. You need to understand what construction measures have to be taken in certain instances. So understanding a bit of construction is super helpful.
That's a really big deal because the codes change,
right,
and the means and methods change, and the materials change.
Mm-hmm.
They have to understanding of, like, do they go to Home Depot once, twice a week, or do they know someone that does? To at least have an understanding of that.
Right, so that's super important. Also, understanding your architectural. New Orleans is famous for its French and Spanish architecture. Mm-hmm. And so you want your agent to be very well knowledgeable about the architectural, what it means, the history of it, the style of it. This differs vastly with how it was constructed, going to be the layout, the facades, anything really. So you want to have a good knowledge of architecture here in New Orleans.
But definitely, if they have that kind of have a better way of to know, hey, what style is this? Because stunning and cute is not a style. Right?
Exactly. You want to know if it's Greek revival. So
exactly.
You need a seasoned agent who can do that. Something really important I want to talk about is also that agent needs to be respectful. If they blow you off, if they're just rude on the phone, they don't want to meet in a timely manner, they don't want to meet at all, they're short, curt answers, they don't really give you in-depth information or really valid research into something you're looking at doing, that might not be the agent for you. You really want an agent who understands respect for anyone and everyone, from the client to the seller to the buyer, to even other agents who may be looking or showing property at the same time you're looking at it. So respect goes on it counts for everyone.
Right, even the tenants, in some cases, especially the tenants.
Correct, you're walking into their home.
Exactly, you're walking into someone else's home.
Right, you don't want to go use the bathroom in their home.
Really, you don't want to.
That's not. I've seen people
good.
Do that. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Doing it, even with COVID-19. Yeah.
So other than that, your agent needs to have an emotional intelligence. You don't want your agent to sort of give away your stance on a property, whether you're selling or buying. Your agent needs to have a poker face. They need to know when to be emotional and when not to be emotional. Being emotional is not appropriate within a real estate transaction.
Not at all.
Do that behind closed doors by yourself. Your frustrations comes up all the time in real estate. Just do it when you're alone, not in front of a client or a potential buyer, seller, tenant. Just not a good idea.
Right, for the agents that have been around for a long time, but the one reason they're still in business is because, you say you have the poker face, you don't react to anything, you don't just randomly come up with numbers.
Well, and that doesn't even mean being cold or harsh. It just
right.
means you don't want to lead a client on to knowing your frustrations if you really stand behind getting a lower price for your client when buying a home. You still
right.
want to have a personal touch. You want to be respectful. Just keep your emotional intelligence in check. And
Definitely.
then also know your brand. I'm an agent. I work with Ian. I know my brand is individualized myself. Ian has a different approach to real estate. We both have our own individual history, yet we work together. So we can we can really know our own brands and marketing ourselves separately and together. So it's important your agent does know who they are, even if they are under another brokerage.
Right, everybody has their own strengths. So it's really important for each of us to know ourselves and what we're about. And we each bring value to the table. The client brings great value to the table. As an agent, you have to bring a certain level of value to the table to be able to help a transaction work smoothly and come to closing.
Yeah, sometimes that even works within a team. Ian may have a better idea of explaining construction to someone, where I'm a little bit better at easing the tension within a divorce or a death in the family. So we can work together in this instant, but we still know our individual traits and qualities. So that's important. And I think another thing that I'd like to mention is the delivery on a time frame. Somebody might be in a hurry. You might have to respect that they're not in a hurry. Your agent needs to know when to push and when not to push. Your agent needs to know you expect an answer within a certain time frame, and if they can't meet your requirements, that might not be the agent for you. I think an agent that responds promptly, or at least within a legitimate time frame that makes sense, is the agent for you.
Right, it needs to be a certain ebb and flow. So you need to have a defined workflow as to how you're going to do your business. How you're going to go about listing, how you're going to go about selling, how you're going to go about showing, when you have to speak to the finance person, all the ducks in a row. Because if we make this offer, we have a specific period of time to make this offer, and then to get the financing in place to actually purchase a property.
And know all the research, whether it's zoning, flood insurance, that agent needs to do all that research for you in a timely manner. So that all ties into the time frame. One thing I think is most important when it comes to choosing an agent is going to be your trust, your clarity, your agent understanding your need, and most of all, clear communication. Can't stress this enough. If you can't properly communicate with your client or your agent, it's probably not a good fit. Communication is going to be key, because that communication is going to transfer whether it's a buy or sell and whoever is involved in the deal. And often there are many, many avenues of communication.
Right, so we look at that. We have multiple means and methods to reach out to you. If you reach out to us to understand what's going on, to be able to know exactly how many people are actually looking at a property, reports that are constant, on the fly, not waiting a week or 2 weeks at a time. So you've got to be able to bring these important tools to the table.
And trust that they're accurate as well,
Right.
Yeah. Well, if you need any more advice on choosing an agent, or if you'd like to talk to Ian or myself about either listing your property or representing you in a purchase, we have extensive knowledge in commercial and residential real estate. We also have the national brand behind us, as well as the technology. So give us a call if you have any questions. Follow us below on any social media platform. We're happy to answer any problem you have.
Thank you for joining us today.